People, we are back with another episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh show. And look, I'm telling you now, this is about to be a legendary show. There is so much to talk about. I think, obviously, the first thing we have to drop on is the ban list. We had a pretty fat ban list. I feel like the last two ban lists have been kind of crazy ones with like a million hits, right? Or a million changes. Was it this one and the one before? What was the one Snake Eyes was banned on? Was that the last one or was that the one before?
That was December.
Yeah.
Which
Okay,
is
so
where
the yeah. Okay, yeah, but this one's absolutely crazy. So like, what we're gonna do obviously is just run through the entire list of the things that got hit. So as you guys can see, the forbidden cards were Moon, Splash Mage, King of the Feral Imps, and Paradise Smasher. So starting off with the forbidden, yeah, I mean, I think this is pretty solid. Like, for me personally, I don't see a problem with any of these hits. Like, maybe at most Splash Mage, but even that, I don't think that's too much of an issue. Like, I think these are all fairly reasonable hits. What are you guys thinking, man?
Yeah, for me, the only real thing that I was not confused, but I was like, that's a bit of a wild card, was Splash Mage. But I understand it because I think Cyberse, not just Malice, I think it just becomes one of those kind of decks where it just gets to turn 3 and it's just homogenized into just Splash Mage turboing out an access code. So I understand why they would get rid of that. Maybe to just kind of make sure that the Cyberse cards can like branch off into their own separate archetypes or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, other than that, all of these hits I've got no issues with. Like Moon, like I've gone backwards and forwards on my thoughts about how to hit Fiendsmith. Unfortunately, I think it is just Moon. Like, so yeah, that's fine. Paradise, no one's going to be upset. That's gone. And King is a good enough Mitsurugi hit in that it still means that they can sell the cards when it comes to reprint time because it just hits the splashability of it. So yeah, no complaints here on the forbidden list for me.
Yeah, I think it was pretty cut and dry for the forbidden section. I can see the issue with Splash Mage, like it's almost like a generic Link 2 for any Cyberse deck. So it was always on a chopping block, and I feel like the history of Link 2 monsters always indicates some kind of brokenness. Like there's always a Link 2 that just needs to get banned for some reason. Christian Hauki Fibrax within Predaplant Verte Anaconda. There's always one. Splash Mage is just the latest in a rendition of ones that just need to just go and chill somewhere. So, but yeah, the forbidden section for me was pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm happy. The only thing that I was a tiny bit surprised to see, though, maybe it would have gone to limited first, is I did think this might be when they finally hit Droll, but they didn't. So I was a tiny bit surprised not to see that here or anywhere else, which is a tiny bit of a spoiler, I guess. But yeah.
Do you know what? Do you know what? With that though, with Droll, I think the time that Droll will get hit is when you see like an equivalent or equal card. You know, like we got like the Mole Charmies. I think when they release a card that is similar to Droll but is not Droll, that's probably when it will get touched. I think at the moment it's kind of like a quote unquote necessary evil, so to speak, until they fix the card basically.
That is a good point. Yeah. So then limited, absolutely fat. We had Ext, Dormouse, Raisin, Lacrima, Linkaribo, Summon Sork, Herald of the Arclight, Dryden, Christian Inclusion, Obedient Schooled, Stake Your Soul, and Solemn Judgment. Like, this is rattling. Like, so I mean, obviously Ext and Dormouse, yeah, I mean, Ext should have been at 0 ages ago. That card is still broken, man, but that one is reasonable. At least the Riser player is only going to do that to you once, hopefully. Yeah, and Dormouse as well. Like, I think I don't know Malice as well, but is Dormouse the only one card combo, or any of the? I think no, the red one's a one card combo as well, right? The one that sets a trap.
Yeah, I think you have to play TB11 for it though, and that people have caught that.
No, yeah, so you got Dormouse, and so you got 3 Dormouse, which you need. Sorry, 3 of the red one, which you need a brick for, and Dormouse, and then now it's like
you got 2 of the red one.
Oh,
yeah, all the quote unquote one card starters are at 2. So you Dormouse, White Rabbit, Underground. Well, Dormouse is at 1 now, but yeah.
So that's quite heavy. Then yeah, Malice is definitely losing a bit because now they ain't got that many one card starters. So yeah, that's probably a pretty nice hit for them. I don't think it'll kill the deck. Actually, good point. Actually, losing Splash Mage and that actually. I don't know. How much do you guys know Malice? Like, does that stop Malice full comboing and stuff, or?
it makes it more susceptible to interruption. Yeah, so like obviously typically you would be able to kind of like extend somehow through March Hare and a combination of March Hare and Splash Mage, but obviously the Splash Mage line is gone now.
Yeah.
So if you do burn through all your names and you can still put like a wizard at Ignister on the board, you can't then just go into Splash Mage and continue doing Malice stuff. You kind of at a pass, if you get what I mean. So it does hurt a little bit, but it doesn't. It's good in the sense that you can still play the deck, but it's just not as consistent through interruption.
As someone who, no, I was going to say, Jimothy, as someone who's played Malice for quite a while, on and off, do you see merit to continuing playing the deck, like for anyone who might be considering it after this list?
There are things that you can do to try and mitigate the inconsistency, but I don't see why you would need to at this moment in time, unless you're like a diehard Malice fan.
Yeah.
You could put more. You could just max out on Allure of Darkness just to make sure you've seen some names. Like there's things that you could do, but like it feels like a lot of work for not that much payoff. Going first, it can still put up a busted board, but your problem is going second. So 50% of your games without the additional starter and Splash Mage to be able to try and extend through, like, I don't know, a Mitsurugi board wipe. It's not really where you want to be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can play it, like, and I like the fact that you can make that decision rather than it be made for you, if you get what I mean. So I personally probably wouldn't, but it's still playable.
No. And speaking of things that you can still play, but maybe it's not. Jimothy, you've been a Vanquish Soul lover for as long as I've known you, so I want to just get your thoughts on obviously the hits to VS in this list, because jokes aside, I do think there is a lot to be discussed about these.
Lonely Raisin, but stake your soul.
Yo.
This is.
Shout out to all my friends / enemies / frenemies, because the amount of messages I've got. Oh, your deck's not playable anymore. Oh, what you gonna do now? Like, listen, just go and eat a pie and just sit down somewhere, because I'm frustrated at it. So my whole thought behind this is, like, Vanquish Soul by itself is not necessarily an overpowered deck. It's very, very strong. If you start playing, it's very difficult to stop. Like, it's got this like crazy momentum, but you need to be able to start playing. And inherently by itself, it was a bricky deck. Like, if you didn't see Raisin and Stake Your Soul with a fire, like, you are struggling to play. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you couldn't even summon a monster, and that was just through a combination of like just hand variants. But like now, you've got one Raisin, one Stake Your Soul, and potentially if you're gonna risk playing it, the one reinforcements of the army. Like, it's even more inconsistent, and it's coupled with the fact that you've taken 2 fires out of the deck. Do you know what I mean? So revealing for those attributes has become even more difficult. You don't want to play Rescue Ace cards in your deck. As much as I like Rescue Ace, like, you don't want to do that. It's not really going to get you any further into playing Vanquish Soul, and that's always been my gripe. Like, I just want to play Vanquish Soul, and I need cards to allow me to get into that. Some people are saying, well, you can play the field spell. Yes, you can, but you've got 4 normal summons. Do you know what I mean? So if without one of those normal summons, the field spell is going to sit in your hand alongside Heavy Borger and Caesar Valius, looking at you menacingly and not doing much else. So I don't know why they did it. I think my theory is something to do with Worlds and the fact that it's on everybody's radar. But I feel like the hits were, I wouldn't say, they were unwarranted in my opinion. I didn't think it was that much of a problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, playing Vanquish Soul into some of the other fields that are being created, like by, I don't know, like Yummy, for example, is equally just as difficult. Do you know what I mean? Whereas they kind of got away with it. But I think pushing the K9 cards is probably the focus here, which is why they've just decided to just absolutely slaughter the deck. I've put it away in my binder already. I'm just going to look at it.
It's a sad time to hear hear when someone's favourite deck goes in the binder.
Yeah, it's probably why I had a drink on a Saturday night, but we'll talk less about that.
It's making sense. That's what happened. Yeah. I don't blame you. Yeah, I fully agree. That hit was absolutely reckless. Like, I was even shocked. I think the thing that's most deep about it is, it's like, again, it's where it's like the deck finally starts to get a bit of play, and then Konami's like, well, Yeah, I hope you had some fun in your 2 months of playing it, but better put that shit away. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous, to be honest.
Yeah, I do think it is a shame with Vanquish Soul specifically because I know a lot of people who have really liked this deck since its release, and the fact that it was for a short time like the best deck, like in a lot of people's eyes, and it won worlds. It was, I think a lot of people felt like it was a real underdog story, and to see it like getting hit as heavy-handedly as this, it must make you feel some type of way. And I think the point that you made, Jimothy, about the fire attributes as well as just consistency is something that like I feel like people wouldn't pick up on unless they'd played the deck, because not only is it a hit to consistency, but it's also like a power hit, like if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's completely that. And like, what do you replace it with that's meaningful? That was my other thought behind it. Like, you could just jam some fire cards in your deck. Like, I heard Dolgoran's getting back into people's lists, but like, it doesn't further the Vanquish Soul strategy, and that's always been my issue. Like I mentioned previously, like, you just want to be able to get off the ground. Like, once you're playing, like it's like I said, like it's very difficult to stop. But now you've got less ways to start playing the game. Like, it's just I feel like someone said, look, I'm gonna take you to the park and you can have a great time. And then I've got there and they're like, right, we're going home. This is the end. This is the end of it. Like, all right, you've had your time now. Let's go. Like, it's rough.
It's
Hard.
Yeah. We've also got Fiendsmith Lacrima back. I mean, who really cares?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that Lacrima is actually a pretty big buff for the Fiendsmith engine, like, as a whole, and for some tangential decks, because like, there's the one side Lacrima, like burn and stuff, but Lacrima was also a sick card just because it lets you fuse with just 2 early in your combo, and then it was a level 6 that you can put on the board, and it revived one from Banished to Grave, so it gave you recursion that you didn't have. Like, Lacrima was a quite sick card. So if you're playing any Fiendsmith Pure variant, if you're playing Musket, if you're playing any deck, in fact, the funny thing is as well, Closed Moon being banned denies a lot of decks from accessing Fiendsmith, but a lot of decks can go into Exoton and get into Fiendsmith that way. They can go into the whatever that rank 3 is called. They can go into a rank 5. Like, a lot of different decks had access to Fiendsmith not through Closed Moon. And if you're one of those decks, you just switch Closed Moon for the new bridge, and then now you've got access to Lacrima again. So I think like the Lacrima unban is definitely going to be really, really big. It'll be interesting to see what the long-term implications are. I don't know if it will be enough to make Fiendsmith like any more meta, but it's definitely going to be good.
Yeah, I think the Fiendsmith Lacrima seems to be a big push to like the purer Fiendsmith decks, like that are just playing like Musket cards, and the Fiendschmidt like list that was doing very well, and like I feel like kind of fell off a little bit just when the format became a little bit more low to the ground and you didn't need to have a load of hand traps. It's interesting because one thing that I noticed having someone who's close to me who does deal with like selling and buying cards and things like that, and obviously the Megatins have just been released. About a day after the ban list tracked, the secret rares for that were actually got bought out. So I think people are considering the pure Fiendsmith deck, or like if they're playing it as an engine, they want to have that extra bit of accessibility to it. So I don't think Fiendsmith's out, but I think unless you're playing like the pure variant, I don't see how beneficial Lacrima is when you've already got an extra deck, full of cards that you want to use for other reasons, maybe. So I don't know. The reason
I agree is because we were playing it before, right? So it's like not really. Do you get it? It's like it's not like we weren't playing it before, and it's come. It's more like we were playing it, then it got banned. I would say as well, one of the interesting things, if you remember before, a lot of people played Fiendsmith and didn't play Desiree, but they did play Lacrima. That's how sick Lacrima was. So I would be shocked at seeing decks that play Fiendsmith not play Lacrima. And also Kyrie. Kyrie is a good card if you can play Lacrima. It's not a good card. Is it Kyrie the right name? Let me quickly confirm. But
the Rex Tremendi, the other fusion.
No, not the other fusion. The trap.
Oh, the trap. Yeah.
Kyrie. I think Kyrie's the name. Fiendsmith Kyrie.
Kyrie the trap.
Basically, you banish it from the grave and you can fuse with it. And what makes it sick, obviously, is again fusing a Desiree is difficult. Fusing into a Lacrima is very easy because you just equip one card. So there's also that part about it as well. Like I don't know. I think this. Yeah.
Well, trap can fuse from grave as well. Trap has the same effect, I think.
No, but Kyrie fuses with the equipped monster.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah, so like doing the Desiree with that is hard. Doing a Lacrima with that is easy. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting. We'll see what happens. Like I don't know, it's going to be a bit, but yeah. Then Linkaribo's back as well. Nice
I'm
for
so
someone.
excited about this.
Like, who's doing that? Where do you think that's going to be played? Like, I know everyone keeps saying, yummy, 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 but is it really? I don't know.
I think if people want to play Snake Eye Yummy, then like we could see. If the thing is, I can't see a world where I would play Snake Eye Engine with Linkaribo over playing Sky Striker. But if you wanted to do that, Snake Eye is probably the best example, playing like Snake Eye Yummy or something. I think there's like some minor advantages as well, and like other, like a lot of decks have a random level ones, like we just need to yeet them off.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be any big like thing, but yeah, it's a nice card.
Well, I was talking about this with a friend of mine who plays Yumi, and I played Blue Eyes quite a lot over this year as well. And Linkaribo was a card that was used to playing Blue Eyes, obviously, and Yumi's a deck that's full of level ones. And we were talking about Linkaribo, and then I just came to the realization that, like, arguably the two biggest decks that play level ones have their own Link ones.
Yeah.
So
why not just use those? Yeah.
Yeah. Not to say Linkaribo is a bad card by any stretch of the imagination, because it's not. It just means, like, at this moment in time, I'm not sure how relevant it will be, but I do think it's a card that you should have. 100%.
Yeah. One thing as well is what made Linkaribo good in Snake Eye. Snake Eye had level ones that it wanted to repeatedly kind of yeet to the grave for different reasons. So it's like it's not just you summon Linkaribo. It's like you summon Linkaribo and then you have Poplar and then that gets sent to the grave and it goes blah blah. Yummy doesn't want to do that. Like Yummy wants to make a Link 1. It doesn't really care what. It doesn't even want to make. It wants to make a Link 1, and then it doesn't really care what happens after that. It's just using that as a tuner, basically. And so for that reason again, other than Snake Eye Yummy, I don't think you would. And I don't even think people can play Snake Eye Yummy. I just can't see a reason why you would play Snake Eye Yummy over Sky Striker Yummy.
I feel like the other big application with Linkaribo in Snake Eye was obviously the dodge and target negation, like Imperm, when it was in the grave. But I feel like with Yummy, because they have so much target in dodging anyway with the synchros, like, I mean, sure, like, it's going to be good that they have more of that, but how relevant is it going to be to weave that into your regular combo lines? Like, do you know what I mean?
And that's what I mean. I was thinking about that. Like, what if you're going first? Like, why would you want to set up a Linkaribo in the graveyard? Like, go out your way to do that when you could just have any other Link one that's probably a little bit more impactful, because you're looking at turn 3 potentially. Because everyone knows Imperm's bad at the moment because Yumi they're jumping around anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, so so turn 3, you're hoping to use the Linkaribo engrave to dodge an Imperm effect that doesn't exist. It's just like. It's not really going to be as impactful as most people think. And in terms of Snake Eyes, like, without original Sinful Spoils, that's literally just your normal summon in it. So your normal summon could be something else that, again, that's probably a little bit more impactful. So I don't know. I think it needed to come back off just to clean up the ban list. I don't think it's going to be as impactful as some people are saying, but
yeah, 100%. But Summon Sorceress, this is a cool one that I like.
Yeah, so Summon Sorceress has been errated. So it now reads, if it's Link Summon, spec from hand, in defense, negate its effects, then spec one from the deck of the same type, but negate its effects. If you summon from the next turn, you can't spec for the rest of the turn except monsters of that same original type once per turn. So this is a big difference from before, where before it didn't lock you for the rest of the turn to that type. That's part of what made it so broken, because you were basically getting like a weird Hauki kind of card for anything. I also don't know if it negated the effects or not, but whether or not it did, that's not
I think it always negated the effect. I've got a copy somewhere. We're on the internet, so we can find it out easily enough.
Yeah, but basically the point is that now it does lock you, so you're not just generically summoning random junk from the deck. So this unlimit, I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to do that much. Like, there are one or two random combos where I can see it has like some, and decks, like even like Orcust and stuff like that, like random decks where they might have use of this. But in this day and age of cards like Nib and stuff and just rampant hand traps, you don't want to commit to cards like that. So I can't see a problem.
I think one of the only applications I can see is potentially Dragon Link, especially when it gets its new support, because I think you get locked to darks. I think you make it, and then there's a Dragon lock in there somewhere with some of the new cards. But you can make this card before that to help you extend. So that was one of the plays, because obviously the borrow monsters, the tech effect monsters, don't they? From what I can remember. So that kind of fulfills some of the link requirement for some of the bigger borrow monsters. So it's definitely good. It has its applications, but like you said, it's not too bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's one of the other decks I've seen people talking about it when is Mermail, but I'm not too well versed on Mermail, so I'm not sure, is that going to be, like, incredible? Like, I don't know. And then other than that, it just seems like just like mono-type combo pile decks that are going to be using it. And there's none of them that are really doing anything too egregious at the moment, so I don't see this being a problem, really.
Yeah.
It's done nothing in the OCG from what I can gather. So
Yeah. Then the next two hits, which are directed towards Yummy, obviously, is the Herald to 1 and Obedient Schooled. Honestly, I think these hits are fake.
Let's expand on that.
Yeah, so Herald to 1, specifically in the Draco Tail matchup, that is a hit to Yummy. That does hurt Yummy a lot, because the biggest thing is against Draco Tail, Yummy would struggle against that deck. But having Herald basically means that obviously Draco Tail can't really establish a game plan without either losing their battle phase or throwing a bunch of cards in the banish zone and then not getting their effects. So they would make a Herald and then they'll set up to be able to make a second Herald. Now they can't do that. So the first Herald's gone, they lose. So that's the really good things. Obedient Schooled is a good card, but Yummy doesn't need it. Firstly, they're getting the Marshmallow one, which helps, which supplements. And secondly, like, Yummy is a very consistent deck. It's not resilient, but it's consistent. Obedient Schooled didn't add resilience because you start your turn with it. It just added another starter in a deck that has infinite starters. It added a slightly different starter because it's specials and it specialed a bunch of them, but it doesn't need it. So I would say personally that I don't see Obedient Schooled and Herald making any difference.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think some people are saying that they're just going to replace the two Obedient School that have gone with just the new monster anyway, or even potentially just not even play it at all. So I don't see that going. But I think Herald is more of it's a shame. It's collateral damage to some of the other like older ritual decks, because the newer ritual decks seem to just have a workaround with regards to getting access to like their ritual cards and spells, and some of their spells are like quick plays and that. But I was just thinking like Dogmatica's getting a bit of a resurgence in the future, and it typically used Herald off Maximus, and sometimes they'd play like two of them just to kind of like resolve Maximus on the following turn or something like that. So it's an indirect that way, but like it just, I don't know. I think Herald's a bit of a balanced card in a sense. It's got 1,000 attack. It's just the fact that 1,000 defense. It's just the fact that it's been playing in Yummy, which can kind of like remove your monsters before you can beat over it. Whereas before, you'd make the Herald, you'd get beaten over and then just play main phase 2 anyway. Do you know what I mean? So there's that little back and forth, which I think is potentially a good thing because there's a decision tree there. So
yeah, 100%. I think Herald in itself as an end board piece is very oppressive, because anyone who played through COVID format will remember like you basically didn't get to attack when Herald was on board. He was just like, you just play a main phase 2. So it's the Yummy backing it up that makes it like very oppressive at the moment. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because I play Draco Tail, but I think one of it is probably okay. I foresee personally a time when this card does get banned, but when that is and for what reason, I'm not sure. But Obedient Schooled, I completely agree with everything you said there, Fabs. Like, there's new support coming out. Like, yeah, Obedient Schooled is super broken, but so is summoning any Yummy monster. So
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we've got coming back again, Zodiac Droidon.
The crappy detonator.
Detonator from Etsy.
Yeah, dead detonator. Yeah, right.
Detonator.
It's gonna rattle the whole format. You guys will be shocked, man. Zodiac tier 1.
I'm glad that it's back. It's like an old pair of trainers, man. It's like, oh yeah, I used to use you a lot.
Yeah. And these are the old creased white Air Force of the Yu-Gi-Oh world.
Yeah, this should have been back years ago. So
I think it's interesting with Barrage at 3 and Dryden, because we never had that last time Dryden was back. It was always Dryden at 1, Barrage at 1.
Oh,
and then,
really?
yeah, when Dryden came back, Barrage got limited, and then very soon after that, Tenki got limited as well. So there was like they were always very like, how they wanted to play the cards close to the chest, if you'll pardon the pun, when it came to Zodiac Unlimits, because it is an inherently broken engine when you have, so many of these cards that can just put Dryden on the board, but Dryden ain't as powerful as it used to be, unfortunately. So
yeah,
I think it will be very, very interesting to see what happens with this and Barrage in the Tri Brigade deck, because that's getting support as well. But that's the only thing I can foresee it maybe having an impact here, I guess. If you guys feel differently, like, I don't know.
No, I agree. I think it won't be. Sorry, I'm being distracted by like a million messages. I don't see it making any big splash. Yeah, at all. But yeah, and then I guess next up is Crystron Inclusion. That's another one that Konami said, hey, you better get violated. Now I think this is a less problematic hit than the Vanquish Soul one, because with the Vanquish Soul one, you needed to actually see the Vanquish Soul start your engine. With Crystron, a lot of the times they would just search Inclusion, or they would search the scrap, whatever it's called. So I think this is a problematic hit. I don't think it matters that much. They'll be mostly fine. Like it's probably not the best variant. It's now just knocked down a peg.
Yeah, so it's consistency slap on the wrist, isn't it? It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I do think if nothing else though, this hit is actually kind of a weird reminder for people that they need to take Crystron seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Then the last one is Solemn Judgment. So Solemn Judgment is an interesting hit. I don't know if it was you who told me this, Dan, or if someone else told me, that apparently it's to do with the time rules.
I don't think it was me. I don't think I mentioned that.
Oh, okay. Maybe someone said that it's because of time rules, that they think people are going to start mainboarding Solemns or something. I was like, really? Is that a thing?
Not that I know of. I always thought it was just because it was just an aid going second, because like cracking a board and then you normal summon a guy and then Judgment it is just horrific.
Yeah.
It's a nuts bar. I think.
Yeah. Do you know what's weird? I agree with that, but then at the same time, I'm like, but is that really what? Like, of the things that someone could do, going first post side, is Judgment really like the best one? Like, I mean,
it's tricky, right? Because I've never drawn a Judgment in my opening hand and thought, oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, I get the. All right, so I would play that one of those. What's it called? The World Celebration, like envelope type things.
Yeah,
Forgot what it's called. That actual event.
I think it's just called the World Celebration event, right?
There you go. how much concentration I was playing on the day, but I was playing Draco Tail and I drew Judgment. I got hand trapped a couple of times, so my board was literally like one monster and one hand trap and Judgment. And literally, I think I stunned him out of a couple of plays. Stunned him out of, I think it was Ogre, the hand trap was, and it removed the body, which meant that they couldn't play. He was playing Yummy. And then he proceeded to extend, and then I judgmented the summon of SP Little Knight, and that literally won me the game. And I think, just from that experience and looking at people's sideboard, when you've got a combo deck, a competent combo deck that can like play through 2 or 3 interruptions and then set up a half board as well as a Solemn Judgment, it is a little bit difficult. It's a little bit oppressive. I know what you mean, like you could put any other card in your deck to kind of like do something, but Judgment literally just says no to like spell, trap, monster summon. So it's too much coverage, I think, in a side deck card, and it's that age-old discussion about having like Kryptonite in your side deck, like, you know what I mean? And I think that's where the issue lies, more so than Judgment itself.
Yeah, I do get that side from it, that it's like just purely in a power vacuum, it does do a lot. So yeah, it does make sense. But yeah, Judgment to 1, it does really seem out of the blue. Judgment's been limited before as well, so I'm sure we'll see it bounce up and down a bit. But Simulated, Branded, Fusion, this hit, Branded Fusion to 1 did nothing to Branded. Branded Fusion to 2 does nothing to Branded. It makes no difference. Branded is weird in that it has so many ways to get to Branded Fusion. It doesn't really care that much what number Branded is at. And so bringing it up to 2 does nothing. I think it's still not good enough that we're going to see, what was that ritual deck?
Voiceless.
Voiceless. We're not going to see Voiceless shove it back in anytime soon, but
I think one thing we are going to see with the release of Doom of Dimensions is an increase in branded Draco Tail, even if they just splash into it.
Ooh, I didn't even think of that, but that's a good point.
Because it just adds an extra 1-card starter. And the fact that you can make the Sanctifier with the new Frixel, which is a light spellcaster, enables a lot of interesting plays where you can just get into more combos kind of thing. I don't know if it's going to be as good as any other variants of Draco Tail. You know, obviously it's in the Magistus pre-Spoon popping off, whether we get Spoon or not, obviously. You got pure Draco Tail, K9, Draco Tail, whatever. I think that's going to be the biggest deck that's actually going to utilise this semi-limit, to be honest. I mean, I've been testing out with it a little bit myself. It's definitely like a bit of an increase. I always thought the limit to Branded Fusion was to just kill the splashability of it, though. But I guess it doesn't seem like that's maybe a problem anymore. Maybe.
Yeah, presumably that's it. I don't know.
I mean, you've played more Branded than I have, Fabs.
So the splashability thing is the interesting thing that I didn't consider, because I was only thinking in the context of Branded. Branded itself does not care about this. This doesn't do any. Like, I guess it's nice, but it doesn't care. But I don't really play Branded splashes. Like, I've always been a fan of the fact that I think Branded is such an incredible deck by itself that why would I put Rubbish Silence Force cards in my deck to play Branded? It doesn't even make sense. So, yeah. It might help other decks or not, or something. I don't know. Let's talk about another deck. I don't know. Brandon is fine. Yeah, Brandon. We don't care. Brandon players don't care about this. It doesn't do anything. But yeah, Unlimited Glow Up Bulb. Interesting. Masterpiece. Morphing Jar. Phantom Sky Blaster. Ashen Poplar. Diagram. Lightning Storm. And Barrage. So, Glow Up Bulb. What was that at before? Was that at 2 or
0?
0, yeah.
Yeah, I like.
Why?
Just I guess plants. I don't know. What's her name? Jess might be happy about this. Maybe.
I think it's with, is it Killer Tune, the upcoming? They need tuners to synchro with, and this recurs itself from the graveyard.
Yeah, this is definitely something that you consider playing in Killer Tune, because they lock into tuners as well.
Yeah. Some people are like, oh my gosh, Glow Up Bulb is like full yummy combo by itself. Like, nobody's really going to be doing that. You're not putting Glow Up Bulb.
So is every other yummy monster.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, I think it's just for Killer Tune. It has to be, because they could have brought this off ages ago, innit? Like, I don't know why they've held on to it so long, but I think Killer Tune's
going straight to 3 is interesting though.
That's what I mean. It's like it's like they knew it wasn't a problem, so it's like, yeah, here. But yeah, I don't think it's that big of an issue.
No. Masterpiece and Diagram going to 3
is nice. Yeah, so True Draco's also getting their support next set. They get 3 cards. 2 of them are mid, 1 of them is good. So they get another Masterpiece, which is bad. It's a negate, but it's just the worst kind of negate. It only negates in like the hand and grave, and you need to discard a card, and it's not even an immune.
And you have to tribute 3 cards for it.
It's just bad, and there's like no world. I can't even. The thing that confuses me about that is I can't see a world where Konami releases that card and unlimits this, because like there's no reason to ever play that card. It's so bad, but sure. They get a new version of Maiden, which can special summon itself. And what's cool about that card is it forces you mandatory to banish the top 4 cards of your deck. So the way that card works, obviously, is you have your own True Draco on your board, then you spec that to their field. They are forced to cuck their own deck, and then you get to trigger and get your card, which is nice. So that card is actually quite good. The only issue is it conflicts with playing cards like Duality. It conflicts with playing cards like Demise, and on some levels it even conflicts with Desires, because you don't really want to play that card at 3. But then you don't, or at 2 even. But if you're playing Desires, then you can lose. And it's not the end of the world if you lose it, but then it's like, why am I playing it if I don't care? It gets off, but banish off Desires. So it's a bit weird, but it's not a bad card. And then the third card, which is amazing, is Continuous Rotor. Just a Continuous Rotor, and it has some other cool effect of like crystallizing your True Dracos when they're destroyed. But that card is
I like how you call it crystallizing.
Yeah, no, I got yeah. So by the way, I've got newfound respect for Crystal Beast. I remember I was chatting to Dan like this is ages ago on how like a Horus Crystal Beast thing, and it was quite fun. It didn't. There was no positive outcome of this. The end conclusion is Crystal Beast can't suck, but I had fun learning the deck and stuff. But yeah. So the point anyway is that Diagrams 3 and Masterpiece 3 is nice for True Draco. I don't think True Draco is going to be doing much, but it's cool. Yeah, and then the new rotor is going to be cool as well. So,
yeah, definitely. Lightning Storm going back to 3 is
probably still going to get 3.
You know what this points to me out? It points out to me that we're not getting Heavy Storm back anytime soon.
I would agree with that. Actually, yeah, probably not. Probably not. Yeah,
Probably not.
The thing about Lightning Storm 3 is that obviously thrust, right? So now no one even replays it. You can take it to 1. Like everyone just plays 2 thrust, and then they play 1 of all the cards. So
yeah. And if you're thrusting for it, 9 times out of 10, people are just going to go for Duster anyway. If it's only in there for back or remove.
Yeah, so it's not doing much. Sky Blaster, I don't know who cares about that. Maybe that's another killer tune thing. It's like, I don't know. Sky Blaster.
No, it's just link spam. Like that's all that card did because it just generates a load of tokens.
Yeah, Sky Blaster, and then I think that's pretty much it. Oh wait, Ashen Poplar, obviously, and again, I don't think it's changing much. OSS is the real thing that deck needs, not Ashen Poplar. But yeah, okay, let's quick roundtable going through this whole list. Who thinks it's a good list, bad list, whatever? Like, what's the overall opinions we have for this list?
I'm biased in it, so I think this list was doo-doo just because the violated Vanquish Soul gave me no reasoning. Oh, we're gonna release a ban list. Well, tell me why you did that to Vanquish Soul as well, innit? Like, if you can tell me that, then I'll validate your list with a better rating. But that's just me being biased. But overall, it was a decent list. It kind of addressed some of the decks, but without making them unplayable. So that is what I'm more interested in rather than the result of the list. That like you still can play Ryzel. It's not the best. Still can play Malice. It's not as good as it was, but it's still playable. So I think that's a good thing. And you can still play all the current decks as they were. So I think overall that's a positive for the future of the game, so to speak.
Definitely. I think with this list, I initially went into it thinking this is really good. Then I thought about Doom and Dimensions, and I was like, I don't think this list is actually as good as I thought it was. With the discussions like the Yummy Hits, we're getting the new card as well. The Meta Shakeup's going to be coming. Pure Mitsurugi's is still insane. Like, Prayers should have gone to 1. Like, that card is nuts. But overall, it's weird because I personally, I don't know about you guys, I thought the format was in a really good place. Like, it was very interactive, it was very skill intensive. Other than like obviously the toxic cards like Paradise Smasher and what have you. So I think I do think this was a good list, but I do think that it was maybe designed in a way where they wanted people to think it was better than it is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if I had to rate this, I'd probably give it like a strong 6 to a light 7.
Yeah, I'd say I pretty much agree with you guys. This is a bit like that Snake Eye list where if you look at like how, remember that Snake Eye list, how like they made all the Malice names go to 2, they like I think detonated to 1, but then it's like you literally next set a bunch of support was coming out, so it didn't make any sense. So that's, I fully agree with what you say, Dan. Like, yeah, this is a lot of activity on this list, but broadly speaking, it's not an amazing list. The only thing I'll say is I do like the unlimits. I think most of the things that they unlimited or moved up should have been moved up. But
yeah, there's a lot of cleanup on here, it seems.
Yeah, which is nice. That's what we want to see again. I feel like Konami should do this more often, where they're just like, okay, we've got all this bloat, let's just bring it up.
Yeah.
But Konami is waiting for the right time to push a new deck to do a lot of
this. Yeah. One thing I do like specifically about the Forbidden section of the list, which I've noticed over the course of the last few ban lists, is that they're specifically using the Forbidden list, it seems, to just hit cards that are hurting the overall game as opposed to like archetype killing. Other than OSS was really probably the last Forbidden hit that I saw that was like, okay, you just keep killing a deck here, which I like. I think the Forbidden section should be for things that kill the enjoyment of the game. like things like Jalgun and Paradise Smasher and like but Nightmare Griffin, and you can argue Bahamut Shark if you can't play around some, but spitting 3 of those out is really so. I like what they're doing with that forbidden thing, and I think the limited and the semi-limited should be for, you know, curbing archetypes, and then if it's still really, really broken, then yeah, you hit it with a ban. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about, everyone anticipated this list to be at an event, right, because of the last few lists, and this was just dropped on Twitter on a random Friday, like, you know, how we've been used to it for years and years and years. So it kind of makes me think: did they do this just because people really wanted a ban list, or did they do this just because they were like, okay, we've had our fun, we're doing it at events, this back to business as usual? Like, what do you guys think, or am I deep in it?
I don't know, you know. I think this list is a culmination of everything that's been happening. Like, the Battle of Legends, like, Euro print didn't happen in it. So I don't know if they was waiting for a combination of that to be released, as well as confirming what was going to happen at Worlds. Because I feel like me personally, I think the final result of Worlds had a little bit of influence on what they did on the ban list. Because there's nobody that I've spoke to, even people that don't really care for like Vanquish Souls, they were all saying the same thing. Like, they didn't really think that it was warranted, the hit that Vanquish Soul got. Do you know what I mean? There was no reason for it because the support's fairly new. And yes, with the K9 stuff, it can be a bit difficult to play through, but in terms of a more pure variant, it hasn't really done much. So it was a little bit weird, but yeah, I think that there may be a bit of merit to that, but I think it's more of a culmination of everything that's been happening. Just like all these like YCSs and things that are happening in a month, and then the ban list has to be somewhere. So
yeah,
this random Fridays could just be a coincidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do think that makes sense from the point of, you know, there's a lot of events coming up in America, like one in the EU. Thanks. Like, I look after them over there. But yeah. But then out with the old, in with the new. So we're getting a lot of support from Burst Protocol leaking through, as is tradition. And Fabs, I know you're itching to talk about some of these support cards, right?
I'm very happy. I'm very happy. I can't lie. So, you know, Konami released some support for a bunch of different decks, to be honest. But the one that really has hit me in a good spot is Dark Lords, obviously. So they got 4 new support cards, and Dark Lords is really interesting because the deck is shit right now. I can't describe to you, like, if you look at a Dark Lord deck before the support, you're playing like maybe like 15 bricks, then like maybe like another 6 worse bricks, and then like the rest is like cantrips and non-engine. That's the deck. Like, it's just all bricks.
It's a pile of cards, yeah.
Like, I can't stress enough to you that Dark Lords is so bad that they didn't have any actual 2-card combos. All the combos were like 3+ card combos. That's how bad the deck was. And it's not like Dracotel, where Dracotel has like 3-card combos, but then it's just a bad 3-card combo that maybe ends on like 2 monsters on board on a pop or something. It was really bad. But this support is fantastic. Like, and it's funny. I made a series called Repairing the Rogue. I made 1 episode. I made a video called Repairing the Rogue ages ago.
It was just Dark Lords, was it?
Yeah, the first episode was Dark Lords, and I was like, I don't actually care about any other deck enough to do this, right? So I just never released another episode. But I remember when I was talking about it, and it's like, this first card that they released is literally like exactly what we need. Like, everyone in Dark Lords would have told you this is what we need, and it's basically when it's special summon, it summons 2 tokens. That's cool. But the thing that's really cool is when it's sent to grave, it searches a Dark Lord or Forbidden card, which is crazy because like Dark Lords have a bunch of cards that go, hey, discard and then do something. So it's like you play Yugioh, you discard Yugioh on another card, you get ashed, and then now you have 3 cards in hand. But like, this card obviously means that now you can play this at 3, you can discard this with Yugioh, you get ashed on Yugioh, safe, you're still searching and still playing. So like, this card is really, really cool. They got another card, which is a normal summon, and again, now we have a 1-card combo. So like, this card by itself is like 5 interruptions. I was showing down before the episode, but this card is sick. It like tutors a card from deck, and then that just gives you so many options. And then also in graveyard, you can banish it to add a Forbidden or Dark Lord card. The fusion is broken. This is the part where Konami really was speaking to my heart, because obviously Rescue has been battered by the OSS ban. I said, you know what, Simeon, you can have Turbulence back, but in Dark Lord form. This card literally is just Turbulence, but a bit better. This is what Turbulence should have been. So it sets 2 cards from deck, and then on top of that, it's got the Dark Lord effect of copying effects, and also it can't be targeted for some reason because they just wanted to annoy people. So like this card's great as well, and then they got Miracle Fusion that can banish. So Dark Lord's got a normal summon before that was like the beta support summon ever because it's a normal summon that searches, but then it summons a card to your opponent's board, which is like the most like that's such a violation in Link format where it's like it's a normal summon that searches. That's not even that good. In Dark, if your Dark Lord's got a normal summon that searched before, it wouldn't even be that good. But this is a normal summon that searches and then also gives your opponent a card, whatever. But this card like fixes all the problems with it. They also like, just in case you guys can see it, I'm about to get this video age gated, but Konami wanted to do some lesbian porno on it or something. I don't know why they chose that. Maybe
you know there's going to be some crazy custom mats of this art.
Exactly. Like so Konami did that and but yeah, this card is a Miracle Fusion, which is cool, and it also fuses with your opponent's Dark Lords. This card also makes the mirror matchup crazy. So yeah, all 4 of these cards are fantastic. Like you're going to be playing all of them, and it just means that Dark Lords is actually like a playable deck now. So I'm really, really happy about this. I don't think it's going to be dominating the format or anything, but I think if you take Dark Lord to an event now, you're going to definitely get some good wins because this deck works really well with its own cards, and then also like you can play like Herald and stuff, and the Trickstar level 1 and stuff for support. So yeah, Dark Lords is looking pretty good.
I can't remember if I asked you this before, but do you reckon there's any merit of playing the Mutiny in the Sky and that Loose, the Darkest? I can't remember. It's a fusion monster.
Yeah,
I want to see that engine, but like I haven't yet to find a deck that it kind of like works in apart from Unchained.
Yeah, and so there's been some theorying, and so yeah, Loose the Dusk's Dark.
Yeah,
and what it really is that there's a tiny bit of benefit in playing it because if you think about like just the nature of like this is a fusion deck and blah blah blah, like this is a fairy fusion deck and that gives you some options, and you can play Cherubini to stock your Dark Lord combo anyway, which is nice. But the main disadvantage of this card and why it's possible that we won't really see this card playing Dark Lords is all of the new Dark Lords have an effect where they lock you into special summoning fairies. And so if you play a card like this, it means you have to start your combo with the Mutiny and the Sky stuff, which is kind of cool because obviously that can search your Dark Lord stuff. But then it's like you've got this useless fairy on board that doesn't do anything, Fiend on board, sorry, that doesn't do anything. So I could see a world where it's played. I haven't yet found a reason to play it. It's the same thing as Despia. Like before, Despia was good with Dark Lords because Aluba was a fairy, and then it searched through a fusion spell, which was cool. And the Despia cards, you could just summon in Dark Lords and it was fine. But now, you can't even summon the Despia cards in Dark Lords because they're fiends. Or you can't summon them after you've used the new Dark Lords because they're fiends. So it even makes Despia Dark Lords a bit worse. So I don't think so. But I would say that the deck is open-ended enough and it's early enough days that I could be wrong when we see some interesting janky stuff with Loose and all of this.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think on the subject of support as well, because there was some Fur Hire cards released. I'm not too well versed in Fur Hire, but from what I've learned from people telling me and talking about it is that it actually makes it like a really decent, purer version, so you don't have to cram it like runic and sprite cards, which is pretty cool. It seems like they're trying to make decks a bit more like their own thing. And then the Dragon Link support came out as well. There was another archetype that got support that was revealed for Burst Protocol, but I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. It seems like for Legacy support, this set's going to be really, really decent. Like, it seems like all the Legacy support they're releasing actually does stuff for the archetypes as opposed to a load of, like, bait, almost. Yeah. Which I think is definitely a good direction.
You know what? I can already see the Yu-Gi-Oh players complaining. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh players like complaining about anything, can it? But they're gonna be like, this set's not impactful enough. This is trash. Nobody wants to play these archetypes. Blah 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 blah. And I personally think it's fun.
Opposite.
Oh yeah, Archie. I personally think it's fun to have some legacy support, but like I can already see the discourse around it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can smell it.
Yeah. 100%. I agree. Yeah.
My biggest problem with legacy support has always been when it's legacy support, it's bad. But if it's good legacy support, I'm here for it 100%.
That's definitely where I sit as well. Like it frustrates me when Konami release legacy supports as bad, especially because I know they know how to make good cards, so I know it's intentional. It's like I said, again, going back to the Dark Lord example, when Dark Lord Pleasure came out, that was around the same flipping time. That was just before Tier came out. So it's like the biggest slap in the face. It's like, what the heck are you doing, Konami? Like, why would you? It's like, I know you could break a deck. So yeah, it's nice to see them actually applying some of their new style of card design to this legacy support.
Yeah, 100%. So in terms of like the new format coming up, what's everyone thinking they're going to be playing going forward?
Me personally, probably Pure Mitsu or Draco Tail. And the reason for Pure Mitsu is because, courtesy of somebody that our host Dan knows, my impulses have arrived. Impulses have arrived, so I just want to impulse someone. I want to have that feeling of just saying, no, you can't summon that.
It's a great card. You're gonna love it.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think Pure Mitsu is quite strong, especially you got on-demand Raigeki, you got inherent kaiju, and then you just got a load of hand traps. So that seems to be the way I'm going. And then Draco Tail, just Draco Tail. So.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I'm thinking it's probably just going to be Draco Tail, to be honest. Just because it's the best deck I've got, and I don't really want to buy Yummy in it. Like, that's just long.
Is Yummy expensive?
It's weird, right? Because the deck is all the Justice Hunters decks are relatively accessible, quote unquote. They're all about 100 or so pounds. Obviously, that's relative to for whatever reasons. But then it's like there's new support coming out which we don't have the rarities for. If it's high rarity, it's an expensive card, and you need to play 3 of it as well.
It is.
It also seems like it's quite a hard deck to master, and I'm in a position where I don't have that much time to dedicate to it, especially when I'm not going to a lot of higher tier events. So yeah, it just makes sense for me to stick with Draco Tail. But I do think that Yummy or Pure Mitsu is probably realistically the strongest pick if you're looking to do well at the moment. Obviously, I think Crystron K9 is still a nuts deck as well. So that will be something I consider because Crystron's cheap as chips, and I've already got the K9 in. So, but yeah, I enjoy Draco Tail. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of Fusion Summoning. I'm a big fan of decks that play 18 non-engine. Yeah, it just makes sense for me. I know you're not going to too many in real life tournaments, Fabs, but obviously you're locked in people you're with who are going to real life events. So what are you thinking? I know previously you were very sort of weren't that interested in the format. So has this changed things for you?
Not a huge amount. Obviously, like I said, so after this, it's gonna DDD. I've tested it a bit, and I think it's good, but not really worth the effort.
Not quite hard.
It doesn't really compete with the new cards, so there's just not really a good reason to play it. And K9 Crystron was probably my second pick after Pure Mitsu. But I don't really like Pure Mitsu that much, just from a gameplay perspective. I think that I don't like decks that only can... Essentially, I don't like decks that lose to D-Barrier. That's basically the best way to describe Pure Mitsu. I don't like decks that it's the same problem I used to have with Branded, where there's too many silver bullets that just win against your deck, and so it takes a lot of the games out of your hand. So I wouldn't feel comfortable playing Pure Mitsu. Then I would say K9 Crystron, while good, I'm not sure. I think that hit to inclusion is enough to make it not decisively the best. So honestly, I don't know. Me and a mate, we've been theorizing because I was helping him prep for Leo, and we don't know. The thing is, okay, what testing now? So he literally tested Yummy in an event yesterday, and I already said I think Yummy's dead, but it's worth testing it. And he didn't like Yummy, and it's okay, not Yummy, not Mitsu, not Crystron. It's what do we do? So yeah, no idea. We'll see what happens, but I will definitely say that from a kind of a fun perspective of just random Gem Night, I've been playing that on DB because it's just fun. I wouldn't take it to an event personally, but it's kind of fun. And once the next set comes out, I'm gonna be playing the fuck out of Dark Lord. So yeah,
I'm so here for it. I want to see next year a series of you documenting a year with Dark Lords, because I know that you're not going to be playing anything unless they bring OSS back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, legit. I mean, look again. As much as I love Rescue Ace, my first deck, in case people don't know, was Dark Lords. Like, if you go on my channel, that was actually where I really started, and then obviously, after a while, I got tired of playing a really bad deck. But my first regional top was of Dark Lords, for example. So, yeah, I mean, I'm cool with Rescue Ace sitting in the bin for a while until they get us like an archetype Rescue Ace OSS. Until then, yeah, Dark Lords. Dark Lords is definitely out.
Amazing.
Yeah. But so I think that we've had, let's say, 2 weeks now, maybe 3 weeks with the new time rules. And if I'm not mistaken, Andre, you've been to an event now, haven't you, with the new time rules?
Yep.
How has it landed?
So I think I was at Locals on Wednesday, and a Sky Striker player got a double game loss.
Oh dear.
And he was fuming, and everybody in the room was cheering, double loss, double loss. But like, I spoke to him after, and he's like, I can't believe he just didn't scoop. Like, he wasn't winning.
Yeah.
So like, he'd comboed, he'd chewed through the board. He'd had like 3 or 4 back rows set, including a Solemn Judgment, and the opponent had 2 cards. His field was clear, had 2 cards in hand. Like, he wasn't playing through that board, but he just I don't know. I don't think he did it intently or maliciously, but he just let it go to time, and then they both lost. So, in that respect,
heinous work.
in that respect, it will happen. Like, and people will just do that just because. So I was in a position where I could have did the same thing, but I just gave my opponent the win because in reality, if we'd have carried on playing for the next 10-15 minutes, they would have won. So I was just like, you can have the win. But I can see for some people, they're like, nah, I'm not giving up. You know what I mean? And that's not because they're doing it maliciously. In their head, they believe they can still win, even though we can see like it's not happening. So it's definitely something that has to be. It has to be a player by player, like account of the situation, and I think it's going to be down to the integrity of the player basically. So if you've got someone who just feels like they can just win at all times, they're just going to play to the end of time, and then you're both losing.
I'll say it's a skill check as well, right? Because being able to understand 2 things. Firstly, that being able to understand when you're going to lose, and then scooping so you can go to the next game is an important skill.
Yep.
But then there's also kind of basic mathematics of if you force a double loss, you are screwing your own tiebreakers.
Yeah.
So even if I really, really think I might have a chance, I can't think of a universe where personally I would ever let it go to a double loss. If I'm in that situation, I'll scoop. I'll literally scoop, even if a judge is not watching me. Like, I'll probably play it to the last second, and then just be like, "Hey, bro, you can have the win."
Yeah,
like,
that's what
I'll just say,
yeah.
Because genuinely, I don't want bad tiebreakers. Like, okay, I've lost, but I don't want to make my tiebreakers even worse and then just look like a dickhead as well. So I think it's a skill check as well. Like, yeah, like people who won't scoop, you're gonna top less because you're gonna force double losses and have really bad tiebreakers.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing. The 5 extra minutes does make a whole lot of difference, and I think like you won't experience it at like tiered events because you're playing typically against better players. So there was like half the room when I was there that were finishing their matches within like 25 minutes. That's like 3 games, because everyone understood like I'm not winning this.
Fast.
Yeah. They play quickly, and they just can see a game state in it. So even before they play a card, they can look at a field and be like, with the cards in my hand, I'm not playing through this. Whereas some people will just try and play. And do you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong in that, but like ultimately, those are the people that are going to like game losses, which is you can't control that, which is a bit of a shame. So it's a bit indifferent. I don't mind it, but it's a bit indifferent.
Yeah. I think the boogeyman of the double game loss does seem to be not as prevalent as people think it is. Because I did a locals today, where with the new time rules in place, and a similar thing happened to at my locals, Andre, where a couple of players. It was very clear that. Actually, it was so funny because like the player whose turn it was had lethal on board and they were in the battle phase, and the time got called. And obviously, you don't finish the current phase now; it's just a double game loss, and they were not happy in it. Like they were like, "Why didn't you just scoop?" And the other player was just like, well, "I just didn't," in it. And I was just like, "Brother, like, come on."
Did he make it home? Okay.
You know, I don't know. I left not long after that, but if you thoughts and prayers to my man. Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, me personally, like, I'm just gonna be like, you clearly got the win in it. Like,
I played to the end because that's what I did. I played right to the end, and like they were like, "Oh, we're gonna have a double." I said, "Like, nah, you can have the win. You was gonna win anyway." But I just wanted to see it. Like, some people don't have that. Yeah.
I've just got the image in my head of like you looking at the clock, goes like 2 seconds, 1 second, and just really violently thrusting for the handshake. Like, you've got it.
Well, it's absolutely wild. But again, I'm. It's funny because people really made it out like people are going to be maliciously stalling and stuff. And I said,
I'll hold my hands up. I was one of those people in it. Like, I'm prepared to, you know, own up to my L's. Like, I thought that there was going to be better game losses and loads of maliciousness, but
again, I think a big part of it as well is just most people don't go to an event to lose. Like, imagine spending 400 quid to go to Europe just to torch your own tiebreakers.
I like how you said most people and not all.
Yeah, not all. There's definitely. I mean, there was a specific story, funnily enough, about recently as well. One of my friends went to an event, and that's exactly what happened. Where his opponent, I wouldn't say maliciously, but they were clearly going to lose. But it's like, because I don't like you, I'm not gonna scoop.
Oh my!
And it's like, oh my gosh. But the way I see it is like, no offense, you're acting like this is some thing. Even if he got the win, you were never going to top anyway. You're a bad player. And I think most of the people who would maliciously stall and stuff like that, you're probably bad. Like, you're never going 15-1 in an event anyway. So like, it's not. You're just dragging people down to your X4 level. Like, it doesn't really make a difference. So I'll tell you guys who it is after as well. You guys might have seen it.
I'm looking forward, though. I must say, I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out at a bigger streamed event with the new time rules and with the decreased top cut count as well. With it only being top 8 who play it out. I did see a lot of people going, "Oh, never going to top." Like, you guys realize pricing hasn't changed at these events, right?
And you still, like, that's the thing that I think people don't realize. Like, all Konami has done is move the top bracket where the game stops and it goes single elimination. They've just shortened that. So if anything, it's better because now you have a better chance of topping. Before, let's say like you played really well for the entire event, go XO the whole event, then you lose in top 64, you're out, you're cucked. Now you have to go XO. You don't have to go XO the whole time. You have all the way to top 8 instead. So you can play really well the whole day. Round 12 you lose, calm, you're still safe. In fact, round 13 you lose again, calm, you're still safe, and then you win the next 3 rounds and you're still fine. So I actually think, if anything, it's better. You can play longer if you want. You have more of a chance to top. Like, if you are a better player, you will top more. Just the fact of the truth.
It must be said though that going from 2 rounds of Swiss in day 2 to like 4 or 5, like losing 3 on the bounce and day 2 has got to be peak.
Yeah, it's definitely.
But then you
thing is a big thing.
In the bounce anyway in top cut.
Again, and it's funny as well. One of the things that I think is interesting is the statistics that we would get, the top cut breakdown before. I always used to say that the statistics we got from Yugioh showed 2 completely different things. So the breakdown of decks before top cut just showed what the kind of best decks were, or what people thought the best decks were. But what top cut before showed really was just what the best deck of the top decks were. So for example, it doesn't show that K9 is the best deck. It just shows that K9 is better than Yami and Dragodel in the context of the best decks. Now though, because it goes a bit further, I would say the breakdown of top cut is still showing that, but it's a smaller sample size that I don't really care about. Now the actual entire tournament breakdown is a more accurate representation of this deck is a good deck, and so it converts. Because the thing you need to realize as well is when you go to top 64, a lot of decks can convert to top 64 just by virtue of, if you're a good player, like I've said this before, the Yu-Gi-Oh played below table like So let's say you have 100 tables on an event. The Yu-Gi-Oh played below table like 20 is completely different to the Yu-Gi-Oh played at tables 20 and up. Like, and I didn't even. And look, I'm saying this as someone who's never talked to Premier event, so we're all in it together. As I'm saying, we're all bad. Yeah, if you're watching this video, chances are you're bad. I'm not offending you, but it's the truth. So we're all in it together.
Full UK Open, man. What you got?
Well, like, yeah,
I'm not even saying that as like a top 4 in UK Open's good, man.
That's true. Well, like the Yu-Gi-Oh played like by the top tier players is like a different game, so like it's just really interesting to think that like now you actually get to see good Yu-Gi-Oh played at those top tables, and it's like the Yu-Gi-Oh playing at top levels is definitely going to be relevant and included in the statistics, whereas before it wouldn't get included. And so those random people that are playing crappy decks and somehow manage to top, it's like, sorry, it's probably not going to happen. Like, you can get lucky. Look, as a deck, that's bad. I just want to finish this with one deck. A deck that I really don't like is Plants. I think Plants is actually a really bad deck. You can't sneak into top cut with Plants anymore. It's not going to happen. There's no way. If someone gets into top cut, you can't accidentally happen. It's like, if you got into top cut with Plants, it's one of two situations. You're either Jess and really, really good with the deck, or Plants somehow got magically good because Glow Up Bulb went to free. It's not just like accidentally you snuck into top cut. So, yeah, like, I don't know. Like, actually, I just had to sleep in some. It's been a while since I've hated on Rika, I can't lie. I felt fresh. Yeah, okay.
Out here with the fertilizer and the flipping miracle growing.
Nah, perhaps we would go weed killer, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just grow them and then burn them down.
I feel like this has been interesting. I've really insulted our viewers this episode. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. You guys are bad, but it's like it's just fun. Yeah, I'm bad too. So like, don't feel like I'm at you directly.
Takes one to know one, innit?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can accept it. That's it's the maddest thing. Like watching my like again, it's one of my friends is very, very, very good. You guys know this. He's been like semi-finalist, blah blah for like UK nationals and all that loads of times. He's got loads of tops, and it's like just sometimes when I'm watching him play, I'm just confused. I'm like, how did you even think of that shit, bro? Like the card only has like 2 effects, but when he uses it, it has like 7 effects. Like it's just mad seeing the gap between skills sometimes in Yu-Gi-Oh. It really is. Yeah. But I think we've shot past the hour, Mark. Should we wrap up there?
I think we've covered everything that we need to.
Yeah. Lovely. So this has been an amazing episode, guys. Thank you all for watching, and yeah, we'll be talking to you guys soon. Peace.